Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hauwa Ataja, and I'm the Student Campaigns Lead. As part of our ongoing campaign to raise awareness about students' rights and support services, I'm speaking with key staff members to help students better understand what's available to them at the university. Before we dive into the questions, would you mind briefly introducing yourself and your role at the university?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me here today. So my name is Lacey Carroll. I'm the Assistant Head of Student Support, and I oversee the Health and Wellbeing team, which is the Mental Health, Counselling and Disability team.
Lovely. So, as I said earlier, we're raising awareness on reasonable adjustments. Could you kindly tell us what reasonable adjustments is?
Of course. And I really like this. This is a great thing to do because we want to get that message out there to students to promote that there is support out there for you. So please come and talk to us when you feel you are able to or would like to. So a reasonable adjustment is something that we put in place for students whilst they're here at the University of Bedfordshire. The reasonable adjustment is taking or making the necessary changes to even out the playing field, to make it so a student's journey here is more equitable, that they have everything they need to be able to fully immerse themselves into their course, and also make sure that they get the right support at the right time to help them with their student journey and achieve their goal of graduating.
Yes. So which type of student can access this service?
So we say to everybody, please do come and speak to us, because sometimes people feel that it doesn't apply to them, but it could. And so it's really important to have that discussion with us because there might be something that we can do to help students. So generally what we say is that a student needs to have either a long-term medical condition, it could be a mental health difficulty, it could be a specific learning difficulty, it could be a physical or mobility issue, a social communication issue. So it's something that impacts your daily life, basically. And that's something that we would then try and support you with and put in place these reasonable adjustments to help you thrive while you're with us.
Lovely. So when and at what point can a student apply for reasonable adjustments?
So you can apply at any point. So it doesn't matter if you're in your foundation year, year 1, year 3, you can apply to us at any point. And you can then make sure that, we get the support put in place for you. The quicker you do it, the better, obviously, because we can get that support in place as quick as possible for you. But you can apply at any point. Now, there are a couple of issues around that just to make students aware. For the exams team, so if you have any exam adjustments, for example, extra time or a scribe or a reader, we would need to make sure the exams team knows that before 6 weeks before the exam period start. And that's because they've got to source all of those different types of support to put in place for the exams. So in terms of just general support, it doesn't matter when you apply because we can put all of the academic support in place as an ongoing thing. But the only issue would be getting it in time for the exams. So currently, obviously the exam period that starts this December, it would be 6 weeks before that exam period starts that we would need to have that LTSA up on the system to make sure the exams team could put those reasonable adjustments in place.
Okay. You mentioned LTSA. What does that mean?
So an LTSA is a learning and teaching support agreement. So basically you and your advisor would sit down and you would discuss or email or phone call, whatever was better for you. And it would be, what are you struggling with? What do you find difficult? And then we would come up with ways to help you overcome that. So for example, you could have ADHD and find yourself getting distracted easily or zoning out quite easily and then not really paying attention to what's been said. So what we could do is on your LTSA, we could put a recording device. And then that would be something that you could then go back to later when you were more focused. So it's that kind of stuff. So an LTSA is basically the agreement that you make between student and advisor that then gets sent out to the staff members that are important to send it out to, like your tutors, unit leads, or whoever you feel would benefit from knowing about you.
Okay. And you said it'll be 6 weeks before the exam, but when it's not close to an exam period, how long does it take to implement the reasonable adjustment?
So what we ask is students sign up to the team. Okay, so there's a registration form. So you need to first of all fill that in. And then we would ask for your medical or supporting evidence. And it's important to not worry too much about this, because sometimes people go, oh, I don't think I've got any. We'll speak to the advisor, because we will try to put something in place for you based on what we know and what you've said. So once you've handed in that registration form and you've handed in that evidence, we would allocate you to an advisor really quickly. Okay, so you'd get that advisor very quickly. They would contact you, they would look at what you've said. If you've handed in any supporting documentation, they might ring you, all of those different types of things. And then they put in a learning, teaching and support agreement really quite quickly. Some people turn it around within a day, but I think you can expect it within about a week. Okay, so it's very short turnaround. And so then it would go to you as a student to sign. And once it's been signed and sent back, that's when it becomes live, and that's when it's been put in place. So once a student's done all of that kind of stuff, it's sorted and it's in place. So actually it's a very short turnaround. Yeah, and basically the quicker the student does it, the quicker it's in place.
Okay. You mentioned evidence. What kind of documents could a student imagine to present in this situation?
So this could vary. It could be very varied. So for example, it could be, if you have dyslexia, a diagnostic assessment by a educational psychologist would be very useful. And that's what we would then put in place, all of the different support. Now, quite a lot of students, if they have dyslexia, come from school where their school has assessed them, and they've been given something called like a JCQ8 form, which states that they have dyslexia, but it's not a proper formal diagnostic assessment. And in higher education, you have to have a formal diagnostic assessment. But if a student had that kind of evidence and came to us, we'd be like, right, perfect, we can see you've had help before. But actually what we would need to do is we'd need to send you for a diagnostic assessment, and that's something the university pays for. Okay, so if we would give you a screening form, and in that screening form, if we saw traits of dyslexia, we would then say, yeah, we see it, we'll send you on to our educational psychologist who will do that diagnostic assessment, and you'll have that with you for the rest of your life. So it's actually really a really important thing that the university does to support our students. So that's things for dyslexia. It could be, for example, ADHD. You would have a report done by the NHS, a psychiatry team, whoever you had your ADHD assessment done by. And again, that would be enough evidence. One of the things I will say is, I know there's a lot of students out there who are on the waiting list for ADHD assessment, and then they're sitting there not getting any support up until this point. So if a student has been referred for an ADHD assessment and they've got their referral letter, that's enough evidence for us to put support in place for them as well. Okay, it could be a doctor's note. It could be a report. So it could be lots of different pieces of evidence or supporting information, but they just need to show us what they've got, and we will try and work our magic and as best as possible to get support in place. Okay.
Lovely. What if a student felt like they had a learning disability but didn't have evidence to prove it?
So one of the things I would say is come and see us. Okay, because we can have a chat and we can actually direct you to the right people to try and get the right support in place. We can see what kind of things we could put in place. So yeah, if you're really unsure about what the evidence is, and I think this is a really good topic to talk about because it puts so many people off. And we don't want anybody to be put off by this. It's not a test on our end. You know, we're not asking you to prove it. We just need to see some things so we can put some support in place. So if you don't have the right evidence, just come and speak with us, and we'll see what we can do to help.
Lovely. And what should a student do if they felt like the reasonable adjustment they had put in place is not really working for them?
So there are lots of different reasonable adjustments that are out there. So for example, recording your lectures. It could be that you need a reader or scribe in your exam, or extra time in your exam. It could be that the lecture notes need to be given to you in advance, so you can print them, you can highlight them, do whatever you need to them. There's lots of different ones for students. So it could be that if a student feels that their LTSA is not working or it's not being followed or adhered to, come back and speak to your advisor. We can speak to your tutors, we can speak to you, and we can try and work out what would work for you. Sometimes we have meetings with our students and their tutors to try and see what we could do as a group to try and support a student. But it's basically come and speak to your advisor, and then we can see what we can do to try and make it so it's easy for you and that you've got the support you need.
Oh, lovely. I have one final question. I feel like you've already answered it, but I'll ask anyway. What's the one advice you'll give to students who are unsure of whether they need a support or not?
Yeah, I definitely have. So come and speak to us. You can email us at disability@beds.ac.uk. In Bedford, we are located in P0.31A. You can literally just walk in and speak to one of the advisors. In Luton, we're kind of hidden a little bit behind the SID desk, but you can go and speak to one of the SID advisors and say, oh, I want to speak to somebody from the health and wellbeing team. And then if somebody's available, they can come out and have a chat with you. But best way is just to email us, and we can give you a call, we can email back, and we can have a chat with you. But yeah, I think that was the one bit of advice. Like, if you're not sure, come and ask us, and we can help you. We can direct you to the right place. We can put support in place. We can just give you some general advice. But that's the one thing I would say is just reach out to us.
What are your opening times for them to just walk in to student support? So open 5 days a week?
Yeah. So we work. So I would say from 9. The office does open at 8:30, but I'd say coming from 9 until 5, Monday to Thursday, and then we finish at 4:30 on a Friday.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem.
That was very informative. Thank you so much for your time. And that's it from me.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.